Hi everyone, hope you all are fine. So today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is chapter number 3, Poverty as a Challenge. Now basically this chapter belongs from Ncert book from class 9th, and this subject is actually economics. Okay, so those who are new, they don't know, maybe that's why only I'm explaining these things. So hope you people got it, and let's start with this chapter. Now, poverty as a challenge. What we are going to learn in this chapter? Basically, this chapter is based upon the poverty and its challenges, causes, and also the remedies, or you can say anti-poverty act, with the help of which we people can eradicate poverty from our society. Okay, so let's begin with this chapter. Overview. This chapter deals with one of the most difficult challenges faced by the independent India, poverty. After discussing this multidimensional problem through the examples, the chapter discusses the way poverty is seen in the social sciences. Poverty trends in India and the world are illustrated through the concept of the poverty line, causes of poverty, as well as anti-poverty measures taken by the government are also discussed. The chapter ends with the broadening the official concept of poverty into human poverty. Hope you people have got it. Now next, what is the introduction of this particular chapter? See, in our daily life, we come across many people who we think are poor. They could be landless laborers in villages or people living in overcrowded juggies in cities. They could be daily wage workers at construction sites or child workers in dhabas. They could also be beggars with the children in the tatters. So we see poverty all around us. In fact, every fifth person in India is poor. So this is very big thing, huh? Every fifth person in India is poor. This means roughly 270 million or 27 crore people in India live in poverty 2011-12. This also means that India has the largest single concentration of poor in the world. This illustrates the seriousness of the challenge. Two typical cases of poverty. First, 33 years old Ram Sharan works as a daily wage laborer. So these are basically the two typical cases with the help of which we people can get to understand about the poverty in more details. And basically these two typical cases are of urban and rural areas. Now, 33 years old Ram Sharan works as a daily wage laborer in a wheat flour mill near Ranchi in Jharkhand. He manages to earn around rupees 1,500 a month when he finds employment, which is not often. The money is not enough to sustain his family of 6. That includes his wife, 4 children, aged between 12 years to 6 months. So this is very big thing, Basically, this is all about a person whose name is Ram Sharan, who actually belongs from urban area, and he doesn't earn a good amount. That's why it is difficult to sustain his family, because the members are 6. He has to send money home to his old parents also, who lived in a village near Ramgarh. His father, a landless laborer, depends on Ram Saran and his brother, who lives in Hazaribagh, for sustenance. Ram Sharan lives in a one-room rented house in a crowded basti in the outskirts of the city. It's a temporary shack built of bricks and clay tiles. So it's not that he is living in a very good house, a very good flat or something. It is very simple, which is a simple and temporary house which is built by the bricks and clay tiles. His wife Shanta Devi works as a part-time maid in a few houses and manages to earn around rupees 800, which is very less. So they manage a meager meal of dal and rice twice a day. but there's never enough for all of them. His eldest son works as a helper in the tea shop to supplement the family income and earn another 300. So basically he is earning 1500, his wife is earning 800, his son is earning 300, while his 10-year-old daughter takes care of the younger siblings. None of the children go to school. They have only 2 pairs of knee down clothes each. Now, new ones are bought only when the old clothes become unbearable. Shoes are luxury. It means they don't buy those. The younger kids are undernourished. They have no access to the healthcare when they fall ill. So this was all story about Ram Charan. The next story is about Lakha Singh, who actually lives in rural area. So Lakha Singh belongs to a small village near Meerut in Uttar Pradesh. His family doesn't own any land, so they do odd works for the big farmers. Work is erratic and so is income. So at times they get paid rupees 50 for a hard day's work, but often it's in kind like a few kilograms of wheat or dal or even vegetables for toiling in the farm through the day. The family of 8 cannot always manage 2 square meal a day. Lakha lives in a kacha hut on the outskirts of the village. The women of the family spend the day chopping fodder and collecting firewood in the fields. His father, a TB patient, passed away 2 years ago due to lack of medication. His mother now suffers from the same disease and life is slowly ebbing away. Although the village has a primary school, Lakha never went there. He had to start earning when he was just 10. New clothes happen once in a few years, even soap and oil are luxury for them. So, study the above cases of poverty and discuss the following issues. So basically, one is landless, unemployment is there, size of family of both of them are big, they are illiterate, poor health condition. Here Ram Charan's son is also a child labor and they both are helpless. Now here, these 2 typical cases which I have already read before illustrates many dimensions of poverty. They show that the poverty means hunger and lack of shelter. It also is a situation in which parents are not able to send their children to school or a situation where sick people cannot afford treatment. So this is very, very important that here the poverty is not only about the food but also for the medication, schooling and many other things. So poverty also means poverty, before we used to measure poverty on the basis of economic status only, but nowadays we don't. We now think about the other factors as well. So poverty also means lack of clean water, sanitation facilities also. See, it's not only about economic status, whether the income is good or not. This is not actually the thing, but also poverty means also the lack of clean water and sanitation. So it also means the lack of regular job at a minimum decent level. Above all, it means living in a sense of helplessness. Poor people are in a situation in which they are ill treated. They don't go to the doctors. In farm, factories, government offices, hospitals, railway station, etc. Obviously nobody would like to live in poverty, but they are living, they are helpless. One of the biggest challenge of the independent India has to be bring millions of people out of the abject poverty. Mahatma Gandhi's scheme is there. Okay, so that's why Mahatma Gandhi always insisted that India would be truly dependent only when the poorest of people will become free of the human suffering. So that's why some of the schemes are also being introduced by the government, with the help of which each and everybody of the poverty, below poverty line, can get a job for 100 days. That we will discuss later. Now, poverty as seen by the scientists. Since poverty has many faces, social scientists uh, look at it through a variety of indicators. Usually, the indicators are used related to the level of the income and consumption. But now, poverty is looked through other social indicators like illiteracy level, lack of general sustenance due to malnutrition, lack of access to healthcare, lack of job opportunities, lack of access to safe drinking water, sanitation, etc. Analysis of the poverty based on social exclusion and vulnerability is now becoming very common. Now, social exclusion. According to this concept, poverty must be seen in the term of poor having to live, live only in a poor surrounding with other poor people. Basically, it happens, social exclusion happens due to the poverty. That okay, you people can't be, those who are poor with the, you can say, dirty clothes, without footwear, they can't go into the restaurants and sit with the rich people. The reason behind that is social exclusion. Okay, inequality. So, according to the concept, poverty must be seen in terms of poor having to live only in a poor surrounding with poor people, excluded from enjoying social equality of the better off people in better surroundings. So, this was the example which I have already given for the poor people, those who can't sit in, those who are not allowed to sit in the big restaurants, restaurants with the rich people. Now, social exclusion can be both a cause as well as consequences of poverty in the usual sense. Broadly, it is a process through which individual or group are excluded from facilities, benefits, and opportunity that others enjoy. Or you can say better people than them enjoy. A typical example is the working of the caste system in India, in which people belonging to the certain caste are excluded from the equal opportunities. Social exclusion thus may lead to, but can cause more damage than having a variety of low income. So this is one of the very important thing which we should think about. Now, vulnerability. Those who are vulnerable. Vulnerability to poverty is a measure which describes the greater probability of certain communities, such as backward class, SC, ST, OBCs, of becoming or remaining poor in coming years. Vulnerability is determined by the options available to different communities for finding an alternative living in terms of asset, education, health, and job opportunities. Further, it is analyzed on the basis of the greater risk these groups face at time of the natural disasters, such as earthquake, flood, tsunami. Okay. Additional analysis is made of their social and economic ability to handle these risks. In fact, vulnerability describes the greater probability of being more adversely affected than other people when bad time comes for everybody. Okay, whether a flood or earthquake. So that is for each and everybody. The situation is similar in that case, but in some of the cases, who are vulnerable? Okay, some people of the society, they are hit with the vulnerability more than the other people. They are obviously the poor people or about to poor. The poverty line. What is the meaning of poverty line? At the center of the discussion on the poverty is usually the concept of poverty line. A common method used to measure poverty is based upon the income or consumption level. A person is considered poor if his or her income or consumption level falls below a given minimum level necessary to fulfill the basic needs. What is necessary to satisfy the basic needs? Normally, we know in our country it's roti, kapda, or makan, but it may be different in other countries. Okay. So just the way I said, it differs country to country. Like in United States, if a person in United States may be considered poor who doesn't have a car, but in India it's a luxury. So while determining the poverty line in India, a minimal, or you can say minimum level of food requirement, clothing, footwear, fuel and light, education and medical requirement is there. I already explained that. These are actually determined for the sustenance, okay, subsistence. So these physical quantities are multiplied by their price in rupees. Now the present formula for the food requirement while estimating the poverty line is based on the desired calorie required. So that also differs. Like if I'll talk about in the urban areas, a person per person the calorie should be taken 2100 calories, but that differs in rural areas because obviously they do more hard work, physical activities. That's why 2400 calories per person in rural areas accepted as an average. So since people living in rural areas engage themselves in more physical work, calories requirement there is more than the urban areas. Now monetary expenditure per capita income for buying these calories requirement in terms of the food grain is revised periodically, taking into the consideration the rise in the price. On the basis of these calculations for the year 2011-12, the poverty line for the person was fixed in rural areas, that is 816 rupees per month, and for urban areas 1000 rupees per month, because we all know very well that in urban areas खर्चे ज़्यादा हैं. Despite less calories requirement, the higher amount of urban areas has been fixed because of the higher prices. So in this way, in the year 2011 and 12, a family of the 5 members living in the rural areas and the earning less than rupees 4080 per month will be below the poverty line, and similarly urban areas less than 5000 per month to meet their basic requirement, a family is considered as poor. The poverty line is estimated periodically, normally every 5 years, by conducting sample survey, and that is done by NSSO, means National Sample Survey Organization. However, for making comparison between developing countries, many international organizations like the World Bank use a uniform standard for the poverty line. Minimum availability of the equivalent of rupees of $1.90 per person per day is considered. So next is poverty estimates. Okay, poverty estimate, it is clear from 3.1 table. You can see table number 3.1 here that the poverty ratio basically it is declining. Okay, poverty ratio in India from about 45% in 1993 to 37.2% in 2004 and 5, it shows that it is declining. Okay, so you have to go through each and every year's poverty ratio. You'll get to understand that it is declining day by day. Okay, now the thing is that every year about 2.5 or 2.2 percentage 2.2 percentage point decreases. So that is a good thing. Next is vulnerable group. The proportion of the people below poverty line is also not same for all the social groups and economic category in India. Social group which are most vulnerable to poverty are SC/ST. I already explained that, or the other backward classes. Similarly, among the economic group, the most vulnerable group are in the rural areas, or rural agricultural laborers, and also the casual workers in the urban areas. Although the average for the people below poverty line for all the group in India is 22. 43 out of 100 people belong to the scheduled tribe are not able to meet their basic needs. 43 out of 100 people, okay, they cannot, they don't have the capacity to meet their basic needs. Similarly, 34% in casual worker in urban areas are below poverty line. About 34% of the casual laborer farm and 29 of scheduled caste are also poor. The double disadvantage of being a landless laborer or a landless casual wage laborer household in the socially disadvantaged social group of the scheduled caste or scheduled tribe population highlights the seriousness of the problem. Some recent studies have shown that except for the ST households, all the other three groups, SC, rural agricultural laborers, and the urban casual laborers, have seen a decline in the poverty in 1990s. Apart from these social groups, there is also inequality of income within a family. In poor families, all suffer, but some suffer more than others. In some cases, women, elderly people, and female infants are denied equal access to resources available to the family. Now, let's see another story of Shiva Raman. Shiva Raman lives in a small village near Karur town in Tamil Nadu. Karur is famous for its handloom and powerloom fabrics. There are 100 families in the village. Shiva Raman was actually a cobbler, and by his caste only, and works as an agricultural laborer for rupees 160 per day. But that's only for 5 to 6 months in a year. At other times, he does odd jobs in the town. His wife Shashikala too works with him, but she can rarely find work these days, and even if she does, she is paid rupees 100 per day for the same work that Shiva Raman does. There are 8 members in the family, and also Shiva Raman, 65 years old, widow mother, is ill and needs to be helped with her daily chores. He has a 25-year-old unmarried sister and 4 children age 1 to 16. 3 of them are girls, the youngest is a son. None of the girls go to school. Buying books and other luxury things are very difficult. Also, he has to get them married at some point of time, so doesn't want to spend on their education. His mother has lost interest in life and is just waiting to die someday. His sister and elder daughter take care of the household. Shiva Raman plans to send his son to school when he comes of age. His unmarried sister does not get along with his wife. Shashikala finds her a burden, but Shiva Raman can't find a suitable groom due to lack of money. Although the family has difficulty in arranging 2 meals a day, Shiva Raman manages to buy milk once a while, but only for his son. So basically, in the story, you can see that Shiva Raman is actually focusing upon his son, and as because he doesn't have money, that's why he thinks that why to spend money on his daughters. So this is a very good story, and we'll understand interstate disparities in the next video. Thank you for watching.